Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. This is Mike with BlueLine Vibes, and I am been patiently waiting for at least a car that has 3 people in here because I've got to show you something really cool. This is going to be the showcase for the BlueLine scanner, and you'll hear the BlueLine scanner going off right now. You'll see the visualizer at the very top of the screen. This is a brand new plugin that is also included into the BlueLine dispatch. And so I'm going to show you how it's done. This is going to be a felony stop. And what I'm going to tell you to do, if you have the BlueLine scanner installed, and if you want things to go really smooth and your gameplay session to go really smooth, then what you're going to do is you're going to wait to point at the driver with your weapon until the officer tells the driver to step out of the car. But you can also press your dispatch key if you have, say Ultimate Backup, or if you have Policing Redefined installed. It works with Policing Redefined as well. But we have the Ultimate Backup installed this time. Press your backup key, and if you arrow to the right, you'll notice that it says Felony Stop Backup. And then arrow downwards, and you can do local or you can do state. Now, this has always been here since the release of Ultimate Backup. So for years, this has been here, but a lot of people just don't know about it. Now, you can press your button right there, and depending on how you have your config set up, you may have 2 people show up, or you may have 3 or 4, depending on how many units you have responding within your config. Right now, I have 3, so I could do it right there. But I'm going to do it the cooler way. I think we're going to do it through actual grammar police. Dispatch requesting code 5 backup. We're going to get him out by gunpoint.
Received. I'll get you another unit.
On the Port Freeway.
Now pay attention to what happens to the visualizer up top. The air is going to get held as well, so it's kind of cool.
Phoenix Station 15097 is responding.
Point to the side of the driver. Don't point at the driver yet, because he'll get out of the car.
Dispatch 4763 on scene.
4763 arrived.
Dispatch, hold the air, please. We will be conducting a felony stop on this vehicle.
Copy. All units, air is now being held for emergency traffic only.
Keep pointing to the side.
Driver, keep your hands on the wheel and wait for further instruction.
And wait for him to give the order to the driver.
Driver, come out of the car with your hands up and no weapons. Walk backwards about 10 feet and kneel down with hands on head.
Hey, use any weapons? How many ease over to your left? I'm under 6.
Just keep pointing at the driver, and then you'll notice that the other officer will come up and arrest him. We'll keep an eye on the passengers, just in case, right? Keep pointing at the passenger. The right front passenger will be next.
Passenger, step out and face away. Walk back to my voice. Keep walking back, hands raised. Stop right there. Get on your knees, put your hands on your head.
And you'll notice that some other audio gets played here as the backseat passenger is ordered out as well.
Backseat passenger, step out. Keep walking back, hands raised. Move back. Stop right there. Kneel down, hands on head.
All right, now, once he gets secured, go ahead and start moving up. There is 4th audio in here as well, so if there is 4 people in the car, it will call out, the backseat passengers as well, so there will be a total of 4 different, audio files to get played. And then you RP it out. Car is clear. Nobody else is in the car. Now watch what happens here.
Dispatch, you can lift the air. We are code 4 on scene. Thank you.
Clear. All units, the air is now lifted. Resume normal radio traffic.
Now this is also 3D spatial audio, so if you kind of shut the door, start walking away. The audio files themselves, there is 40 different audio files and over 3 hours worth of audio. They play randomly, so that way you're not, used to like a playlist. It's not like what you think. These are going to be ambient sounds that are kind of thrown in there to represent, like a live police radio scanner. And so these are obviously WAV files. and you can include other WAV files in there as well. Before we move on to the visualizer, I just want to also let you know that with the BlueLine scanner, I've included some other audio files for Ultimate Backup. Ultimate Backup has never had any audio files for certain things, like, for example, if we want to get a supervisor out here.
Copy, I'll route him.
On the Puerto Freeway.
That's row 6 control.
SRO 6, proceed.
King 52, you can attach me for the supervisor.
Received, King 52. You are now attached, thank you.
Copy.
Dispatch Baker 15, I can stop by and pick up that suspect.
Copy, Baker 15. I'll attach you to the call.
Copy.
Dispatch, requesting animal control. I think I saw a bunny rabbit on the freeway, thanks.
Copy. I'll notify someone at County Animal Control and see if they can head over.
Dispatch, requesting CSI. Need a crime scene unit out here. Got a dead bunny rabbit on the highway.
10-4, CSI en route.
All right, so now about the visualizer. We're going to press the F10 key, okay, to bring up the BlueLine scanner. Now, you can change that key right here. And if you have a lot of menu overlap, you can go into the config inside your LSPDFR folder, and you can find your BlueLine scanner and modify the config outside of the game if you feel like it. For example, like F7 works better for me. And so F10 is okay, but I like F7 to be honest, because F10 conflicts with my search function, and I don't want to bring up the scanner menu all the time. And so that is an option. And you could also do, you know, a modifier key as well, like Alt. You could do Control, or you can do Shift. Be careful with Shift though, because you may, if you have a traffic stop, you will release that traffic stop. So I would not recommend Shift, to be honest. But I like to do none personally, and then I like to put it as F7. And then once you get done, you know, with your menu key, you can go here and you can save it right there. Now, right now I have it set to vehicle scanner, and we're going to turn this down a little bit because it does get really, you know, rather loud. The sweet spot for, you know, the actual ambient scanner to hear something while you're driving is probably going to be around 4 to probably 6. I would not go up to 7 or 8, and definitely not 10. Way too loud. And then if you want to be on foot and you still want to hear, you know, a scanner, then you want to go down to player scanner. Okay, you can't really do both because it serves no purpose. And then player scanner, I would probably put it around 4. You know, that's just my opinion on that. I would not probably go over 5. 6 is a little bit too loud because you got to be able to hear things going on in the game. So what I would do very first thing is when you log into the game, confirm it's working. First of all, switch it to player. Yeah, like I showed you right here, and make sure that is enabled. That way you know that it's working. Give it, you know, about 30 seconds to a minute to register, you know, the WAV files, and make sure that, you know, it is playing. Crank up the volume a little bit, and then go to HUD placement. Click on HUD placement, and right now I have it bound to the number pad keys. I may consider updating this mod. Maybe configure that inside your config file, and that way you can change it to, if you don't have a number pad key placement on your keyboard, inside the config, switch it up to a different keybind. Right now, since 95% of you have, you know, actual full keyboards, it is set to number pad keys. So if you look at your number pad keys, you know, the num lock is on, and then press your 4, 8, 6, or 2. 4, 8, 6, or 2 on your number pad keys, and you can move the visualizer around. Just hold it down. If you press your number pad 7 or 9, you can make it enlarged. You can enlarge it, you know, lengthwise. If you do number pad 1 or 3, it will increase the size of the visualizer. And so once you get that established, come over here and press backspace, and then go ahead and save your settings. If you go to bar color, the opacity, you know, it's set to 30% right now. You can crank up the opacity. All right, now the bar color kind of speaks for itself. You can go Dodger blue, you can do orange, you can do green, yellow, gray, white, teal, purple, or red. Now, if you want to do the visualizer label, this is where the fun stuff kind of kicks in. So the visualizer label, you go up here, and these are called presets. So right now it's set to BlueLine Scanner. If you're not happy with that, arrow to the right, and you can just say dispatch. Go down to apply preset right here, where it's in green, and press enter. and you'll notice it just says dispatch. If you want to go over here to LSPD radio, now remember this is all purely cosmetic. However, if you stick around to the end of the video, I'm going to kind of let you in on an update that I'm going to have. It's going to be a big one. It's going to be in the future, probably in the next 2 or 3 months, 4 months, kind of depends. And then if you arrow over to the right, like I said, you can over here, you can switch these up. And there's a SHP radio. Like I said, this is all purely cosmetic. Nothing to see here except for cosmetic. You can do command. There's unit 1. Now, if you're not happy with any of these things, go down to enter custom label. Name it whatever you feel like it. You can say your call sign, for example. I'll do that sometimes. So right there is SAM44. So you can use your call sign if you feel like it. And then you can also reset to default, which is going to go back to BlueLine Scanner. If you're happy with that, press backspace and immediately come down here and save settings. All right, so that is going to cover the visualizer. Right now it's kind of ugly, being kind of really dark on my screen. And so I'm going to go ahead and just place that at a HUD placement and automatically go to your number pad keys. Move it up to where you feel like it. We'll go up to about right here for me. And then I'm also going to take down the opacity, go to bar color, and we'll move it down to maybe about 15% or 10%. Now, there's a lot of cool features that's still built into this plugin that most of you will discover on your own. For example, you can say this. Dispatch, hold the air, doing a demo on the bridge.
All units, the air is being held for emergency traffic only.
All right, now if you look at the top of the screen, it's official air held, meaning no scanner will come over. The regular dispatch will have a visualizer of itself. Dispatch requesting code 2 backup.
Received, I'll get a unit to the scene.
On Miriam Turner overpass.
Phoenix Station 1, 5097 is responding.
Copy right.
Dispatch, lift the air. We're all good on scene. Thank you.
Received. Dispatch all units. We're resuming normal radio traffic.
There will be a slight pause with the scanner because I don't want it overlapping. And then you'll notice that it'll go back to your visualizer label, which means it'll queue up the next WAV file. If you press your dispatch key, depending on what dispatch key you have for a grammar place. So for example, I'm going to alt tab out of my game just for a second. We're going to navigate to our plugins folder, and then we're going to go to our LSPDFR folder in upper capital letters. And then you'll notice that the BlueLine scanner is right there. And here's the config right below that. So if you go to your config file, you'll notice that I switched mine over to the F7 key. And so that saved that for me live during gameplay session. So it saves it live. And it will create, a new config if you lose this one or if you delete it out by mistake. You can always load in the mod, no problem. And then it will create you a new config, and this will get defaulted back to F10. Here's the modifier keys, and then here's your dispatch key. So your dispatch key depends on grammar place. So your dispatch key by default is going to be R menu, and that is a key enum feature by Microsoft. That is your right alt key. And that is explained, with grammar police documentation and all that. However, if you changed your key for dispatch, go back here to your LSPDFR folder inside your plugins folder. Go to grammar police right here, and then go to your custom INI. And then right there, you'll see your dispatch key is right there. So it's going to equal your dispatch key exactly word for word. You can also change a few other things here, like the player scanner if you need to change anything outside the game. And then you can take a look at mine. For those of you that do not have number pad keys on your keyboard, look at these numbers right there and see if you're okay with that, just for now, until I can come out with an update or something like that. And you can see my width and my height for the visualizer. So that's just something to kind of go by. Just pause your video and then write those down. Visualizer label, you can always turn that off. You can set it to false right there, and it will not be on your screen at all. And then watch what happens when I press my dispatch key. Dispatch, requesting EMS.
Audio with a civilian 1620.
AMR 46 is en route.
Copy, AMR 46, looking 33.
Copy, I'll get him en route.
And like I said, 7 is a little bit loud for me. So I'm going to go back down to maybe 4, right around there. 3 or 4 is a good round number when you're kind of patrolling. It depends on how loud the game is. All right, now, for those of you that stuck around the video, this is a little treat for you so you can understand what's coming up, for a future update, for the BlueLine scanner. So I already had the idea. I've already got it to work. I can do this zone-based, and it requires a lot of work on my end. Hours and hours and hours worth of audio, because you don't want to have just, maybe, 15, 20 minutes of audio. And I decided to divide this up into different zones. So the way this is going to work is the LSPD is going to have their own zone all through here. And then for here, I'll make this county-based radio, to include, Grapeseed, Sandy Shores, and Paleto. And then I may even do one for military out here near Fort Zancudo. And I can code it to where it can indicate which zone you're in. And then it will start, playing that radio. You'll hear audio for, say, Blaine County only. It'll be audio that's referenced to Blaine County. It won't mention anything about the city. And when you're in the city, it won't mention anything about the county. And then as you drive, the radio will switch automatically. So you can do zone base, and there'll be another setting in here. It'll be called zone, and it'll be something you click on. And then you can do it zone based, or you can just do it, statewide. But anyway, I'm glad you stuck around for the video. That's the future, update. And it'll be a big one. It'll come out, so many months, but I'll let you know how it's going. Until next time, I will see you on the next patrol. Take care and stay safe.